Hey, thanks for coming to our website and clicking on this video to learn a little bit more about our sessions that we do, our group sessions, where we use the NAAP model to help people and to teach people to shift. I'm Lamont Wilcox, and this is my daughter, Mikkel, and we are the ones that do these group sessions, and we're here to kind of share with you a little bit about what a group session is and what we do in a group session.
And if you were one of those people that saw the introduction presentation that we did, remember the things that we talked about in that so that you can understand this even better.
Because our NAAP model is an attempt to really get into our reward system in our brain and to interrupt those rewards so that we can shift and change. And our brain it's doing what it knows. And so knowing more is what will get your brain to change. Knowing more will get your brain to change its actual reward system.
Have you ever felt that for a while now, or a time period or sometime in your life that you really felt really stuck, that maybe your life was kind of repetitive, like you didn't really have control of what was going on, you just kind of were going about life and it was just happening and it wasn't like you were there or present or in the moment? Or maybe you know someone who feels like they're in that position, that maybe they have a mental conflict going on or mental struggles or anything that they really just want to get out of, they want to change, and it seems like they're just stuck and it's just going over and over and over like that.
Because what we do as we go through life is we have these mental conflicts that are happening often on a very subconscious level, that we're having a really hard time trying to resolve and trying to get the flow going in our thought process, in our brain, to find resolve and to find peace. I mean, is that one of those things that you're seeking in life, is to feel a little bit more peace about yourself and about your situation and about life and what's going on? Are you having anxiety? Do you have any struggles with depression or anxiety or any of those things, PTSD, any struggle where mentally you just feel stuck? Because that's what this is all about. It's about helping to free your mind in a way that helps you to achieve and be what you want to be and achieve, to discover what that is and to use it, to use that to help your brain, because we know our brains, again, are so powerful and they're very capable. And so these sessions are to help us move into a place in our brain to understand and deeply get and have it penetrate into our subconscious and really help us make those shifts.
Have you ever noticed maybe a self-sabotage? Like when we're in those moments when maybe we're in an argument and we fight with someone else, and then later we look back at what we said and what happened in that argument, and we're like, what were we thinking, right? Do we have those self-debilitating patterns that are just playing out in our lives? We're just kind of automatically doing things without consciously being aware and consciously thinking of those things.
Or maybe you're someone who just feels overwhelmed, that it's a common feeling to just get overwhelmed because there's so much going on in your life, so many things that you want, or so many things you care about, and it just doesn't seem to be going well. And you're losing motivation, and your energy level is dropping, and you just feel this overwhelm. And maybe you're a parent in this same situation. You're thinking, what am I teaching my children? What kind of an example is this if I'm anxious and I'm uptight when life should be good? I mean, we all have something in us telling us that life should be good. It should be fun. We should be enjoying. We should be able to relax a lot and have fun a lot and experience life and do things that light us up, that make life just exciting and have juice and just, really touch us in a way that makes us exciting and fulfilled in life.
And maybe we're noticing that we're giving credit to maybe the symptoms for the issue, right? We feel like a certain way, and so then we put a label to that and we decide that is what's causing it, right? We say that, okay, well, I am depressed, and so that depression is causing me to feel this way in this certain moment, and I can't control that. I can't do anything about that. I have depression, so there's nothing that I can do, right? It's genetic. But maybe there's something else.
What neuroscience is showing us is that these things that we think are the problem are actually just symptoms, that the core of the problem was already there. And this world and this external experience is just triggering those up. And so what the Neuro Auto-Associative Programming Model is designed to focus in on the core of the problem, not the symptoms. All these things are symptoms: struggles in marriage, struggles in relationships, struggles in life, and trying to create good habits and trying to stay in an upbeat and happy mood. Those are all just symptoms to something that is going on inside of us that already existed before it was triggered. As a matter of fact, someone who might start having panic attacks or someone who has PTSD, those maps were already in their mind. They were already there, and they were just waiting for a moment. They were waiting for an external trigger to activate them. But the problem, and it was always there. It was always existing. And this Neuro Auto-Associative Programming Model teaches us that we can actually change and shift these things in such a way that we don't have those reactions, right? Where, trauma is something that we talk about all the time that just, is such a painful and struggle for so many people. And and it seems more now than any other time. We seem to be doing even more, and there's reasons for that. There's things that this new environment that humans are growing up in with the technology and all these different things that affect us, they're changing our experience and our ability to respond and the way that our maps work and the way our triggers work. And so all these different struggles that we have that we call mental illness, right? That are really just clusters of symptoms. And even the psychiatrists, that are the leading researchers right now, know that there's kind of a problem with this just clustering symptoms. If they were any other medical field were to do this, we'd be doing the wrong operations and giving the wrong medications for things, because we're not actually looking at the core of the problem. We're looking at a bunch of symptoms, and the symptoms don't always tell us right where we're at. And most of the methodologies out there are actually getting more towards the symptoms, trying to make us feel comfortable in our symptoms, right? It's kind of like medications that are really there to help us deal with or cope with this illness that we have. And so many of them don't really go in and do anything to help us actually get better. It's just to help us survive through it, or not be as miserable through it, right? Or not be in as much pain going through it. And that's what we tend to do in this mental illness, realm, is that people are so focused on what they see as the problem that they're not realizing or finding or discovering what the core is. But neuroscience has taught us what that core is. And it's coming out. It's slowly coming out, but the research is there. There's tons of research around it about where this core is. And so this Neuro Auto-Associative Programming Model is to get to that core. It's to help you start to have this ability to self-analyze and shift and change, interrupt the patterns of your thinking, your subconscious patterns that have been playing out since you were just a little kid. And you haven't been aware, but that thing's evolved in little ways, but kind of mostly the same as when you were just a little kid, trying to get your way and get what you want and make life work for you and hope that it all falls into place so you can finally be happy. And if that resonates with you and you're experiencing some of that, then these group sessions are what absolutely have the ability to get you on a path that will shift the way that you see, think, and process, creating a new language that you use.
Because subconsciously our brains, they work off a reward system, right? When we feel a pain or we want to accomplish or achieve or reach a goal, we tend to do things in the way that leads us to one or the other, right? If we're feeling pain, then we're trying to get away from that pain. And if we're wanting the goal, then we're trying to work towards that goal. And so every single thing that we do is based off that reward system. And so as we have these struggles, as we have these difficulties, our reward system is playing out as to why we are doing that, why we are going through our life living that way. And so with this model, we can learn how to really take control of that, right? That it's not just our subconscious that's playing out how we learned while we were growing up, but really that now we can take control of that. Now we can see the world in a different way, where we are the ones who are taking control of that subconscious.
And it's really interesting because the way that we use our brain and the way we process, try to solve problems, try to make changes in our lives, we use language. We use the language that we speak, that we were born with or that we grew up with and learned. And that has limitations to it. It has a lot of limitations to it. And so, and the way we process things, we use language. We use this, based off of this limiting language that we have, that's what we use to make changes in our brain. So this is almost like learning a new language. It's like getting a new way of thinking that uses a different kind of language. And we actually analyze our actual language, the English language in this case, for us. And so, and in that analytics, you start to realize and understand within yourself what your brain is doing and why it's getting reward for things that you don't understand why, right? Because in the brain, it's an addiction and a mental pattern really look the same. right? So if we have a mental, what is typically called a mental illness, that's actually an addictive pattern that our brain is stuck in, getting the reward. And so with this new language, you can shift that reward. You can interrupt that reward. And what's awesome is with group sessions, you can bring people with you. You can bring your loved ones, your family members, and it is so awesome for you to both learn this language together.
Especially if it's someone that you spend a lot of time with, because you both go into this group session learning this new language, and then you can share it with one another for the rest of your life, right? You can be there and maybe you don't understand a certain principle or concept, and you can both talk about it and work it out and see what kind of different perspectives or what kind of principles you've been learning and how that applies to your life, and being able to bounce off each other in that way. And having the energy in these group sessions with so many people is so powerful, that everyone is doing this together. Everyone is on this journey of life together. We're all trying to learn about our brains and trying to research and understand better so that we can all improve our lives. I mean, generally speaking, everyone wants a better life, right? Everyone wants to improve. And so doing this together, having that energy together, we help each other learn how our brains truly work.
And maybe you've been told that, this is a mental illness and that there's not much you can do, or that it's been passed down from generation to generation, or that it's a genetic thing, or that you have a chemical imbalance. I'm here to tell you, your brain is so powerful. By tapping into the power that your brain has, you can change massive amounts of biochemistry. You can change the way your brain is connected. You can change the way your brain is used. You can change the reward system in your brain, which is powering everything, right? That reward system is powering everything that's happening inside your brain and in your body and the way you perceive this world. And so our brains are incredibly powerful. And this is not a therapy class. This is not something that goes in that helps you cope with or learn how to live with what you have. It's to change what you have. It's to actually shift it and to totally get into this place where you are self-analyzing your thoughts in such a way that interrupts and changes those patterns so you can get out of that. If you haven't had the energy or the motivation to do things, this is the description of why that's going on. By understanding why, you have new knowledge. Your brain's doing what it knows. Give it new knowledge and it'll start doing something different. And
one of the biggest keys is to take action, right? Have you ever had that moment where you hear something new, you learn something new, you're super excited about it, you learned a lot, you just want to dive into this thing, and maybe you go home or maybe you run into a problem or an issue, and then you kind of put that thing off that you're really excited about, and then the excitement kind of dies down, it kind of goes away, and then it's months later and you realize that you never did that thing that you were really excited about, right?
It's kind of like when you pick up your cell phone to use it for something and you see an alert, and all of a sudden 45 minutes later you don't even know what you picked your phone up for, right? I mean, that's kind of how our brain works. And so we're encouraging you right now to do something, to take an action based off of how you feel right now. We're not telling you to do anything specific other than tune in to your guidance system right now about how you feel about what we've said, and if there's something that you can do to take an action.
And that doesn't have to be coming to a group session with us. I mean, it's about you. It's about who you believe that you are and what things you can do in your life to be better and to learn and whatever. So go out and research yourself about what we're saying about this stuff, but do something.
And if you have a hard time believing in yourself and your own capabilities, I want you to think of a loved one that you have that believes in you. Someone who really believes in you and what they would want you to do. It's a really good way to decide and to use your own guidance system to figure out what is best for you. And this is a big part of this message, this tool, this model, is to help you tap into your own intuition. You have this incredible ability, but you've been stuffing it back. The world has helped you stuff it back, and your life experiences has told you to not believe in it, to not believe in yourself, to not be your genuine self. There's one gentleman who went around and interviewed hundreds of people on their deathbed, and he asked them, what is the number one thing you wish you had done differently? What is the number one thing that you regret? And the number one thing out of all the things they said, by far, was repetitive over and over and over, was that they didn't live true to who they knew that they wanted to be or who they were. They didn't live true to themselves. They were so driven by this world and the external things going on and all that it is teaching us and the pressures it's putting on us, that they weren't authentic. They didn't find their authentic self, right? Until they're on their deathbed and they start to realize it. Don't wait until your deathbed. Take an action and do something now. It has changed our lives beyond description. I can't even begin to tell you how much it has changed my life and the people around me. And my daughter can attest to how much change that she's seen and experienced in her life. And this is new to me. I've only been doing this for 3 or 4 years now, but it has had massive shift and change in my life. And there's so many different aspects of life that it literally reaches everything. We often, when we have these sessions, we ask people after they've had the session, we say, if I had a button I could press that would erase everything that just happened so you wouldn't have it, how much money would you pay me to not press that button? And their answer almost always is that they can't even imagine what they would give, the amount of money that they would actually be willing to try to get and attain so that they would not lose that knowledge. Because it's not just knowledge, it's a huge shift in the way that you see this world, the way that you process. And if you're stuck, if you feel stuck, this is it. This is a way to get yourself out of those patterns. Your brain is just stuck. It's in an addiction to get biochemical experiences, and you can shift and change those.
How do you think life would be if you were able to do that? If you're able to go inside yourself, go to see how inside yourself, where it is that you're really perceiving things in a way that maybe you don't want to, right? Maybe that it's something holding you back or keeping you back from whatever it is that you truly want. And what if you were able to change that in your life forever, right? Being able to understand how you work, how you could analyze yourself so that in those moments when you're acting that way that you may not want to act, or you're feeling the way you don't want to feel, you can stop yourself and go inside your brain and see that in a whole new light, a whole different way. And what would it be if you could do that for other people as well? All the people that you love and you care about, to offer that for them in their lives.
And being able to be in any situation and be the person you truly are inside. I mean, notice when you get anxious, you get depressed, you get angry, you get frustrated. It's like, it's not you. All of a sudden, it's some other dude, some other guy, some other child in you coming out and acting out. And it doesn't serve you. It doesn't get you to the things you want. Imagine if you had yourself focused so much on a purpose. You knew what you wanted, and you were so focused on that. And in every situation, no matter what, the flat tire on the way to a meeting, the screaming children, the spouse that is upset with you, or whatever, that you could still stay true to who you are that whole time. That's what it's all about. Discovering your true identity and really deciding what you want and being true to that. Using this model to become so true to that no matter the circumstance, you're always who you believe you are. And then imagine passing that on to your children, like she said, and the people around you. One of the biggest things we get is that once people experience this, they want like nothing else to share it with others. And that's why this thing is spreading so fast. That's why it's taking off. I spent 2 years working in an office where I worked with people every day, and it was all referrals because everyone was telling everyone else. And I've realized that it just has to go bigger. So we're doing more digitally, we're doing more online, and we're doing stuff and getting bigger groups. And it's about getting this out to everyone, because this is huge. It is life-changing. All this suffering and mental illness that's going on out there doesn't need to be. We can change it. You and I and my daughter and all of your family and all your friends and everyone, we can start to change this. We start changing these things, then the problems in the world will slowly just start to fade. They really will. This is the most incredible thing, and I hope you take a moment to decide what your next action is, what your next motion, your movement, what you're going to do. And there's a link here that you can go to find out when our next event is, and get on there, share this video with other people, put it on your social media, put it anywhere you want. We want to get this out there, and we can use everybody's help, because our goal is to get to every single person, every dark alley and every backwoods corner of every place on this planet. We have to get this to them, because this is the freedom that you can start to experience despite your circumstances and despite your environment. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you are inspired. I hope you have hope, because hope is one of the most powerful things and experiences, chemical experiences, that your brain can have, is to have hope. So I hope this has sparked some version of hope. If you want to continue that hope, take an action, because taking action will build on that hope, and it will help you get more hope. And you'll start to have chemical experiences that will start to lead to what you want. And you can't stop it. Once it starts going, it'll just keep going. And yeah, old patterns will kick in, but you just keep going, keep trying. because they're there to help us. So thank you so much, and I hope we get to meet you live in one of our events, and I wish you the best. Our love goes out to you and all of your loved ones and everyone that you want to serve and help, and we're here to help you with that. Thank you so much.